Hey guys, how's it going? Um, this year is the mark 1 year anniversary of the passing of Tito Jackson. Um, I will say it still feels surreal to me. Um, and to be honest with you, um, I never thought I would actually record a video like this, especially about Tito. Um, it's kind of crazy that how life can could go by fast, and because we're losing a whole lot of stars. But to me, Tito was Tito's a human being, you know, um, a really humble man, a proud father of four, um, and a great brother to his brothers. Um, it seems so surreal that after all the years of countless hits with the Jackson Five, um, including recording music of his solo project that he has been doing in the past couple of years while on tour with his brothers, to which I was able to really witness myself of Tito performing himself, as someone that's seen the craftsmanship in person, live and in person. Um, I will tell you about how I met Tito. I came across Tito's, or at least came across him in a way of discovering who he is as an entertainer, was through um, Michael's 30th anniversary special back in that was performed and aired in 2001, um, way before 9/11. Um, um, and I was about 6 or 7 then. And as I stated in an interview with Cheryl Massa on the Thought for Love podcast, which I appeared in, like with Michael, um, when I, you know, when I saw him playing on the guitar, um, it blew my mind about how he executed it pretty much, and it was something that I can't ever explain, to a certain degree. Um, but little did I know I would probably end up meeting him a couple of years later down the line. Um, now that I reflect on that moment, that part of my life, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Um, yeah. Um, and as the years down the line, I got to do some research about Tito and who he is and who he is all about. It made me drawn to him more, and so just like with Michael, it enamored me in a lot of ways, that I cannot explain. I cannot explain. Um, yeah. Well, as truth as time has tell, prior to actually going to the concert that they did was the which is which they were performing at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino, my bad, in Tampa, Florida. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm so excited because I purchased the tickets. Um, I was even more excited to really want to meet him more. Was when 2 years prior, which if I go back a little bit farther than that, the day actually when I met them was February 21st, 2022, and like even though that way before that, before that concert ever happened, I always wished that to meet them and all of that, because that was one of my bucket list, um, as a fan, not only as a fan, but just to want to get to know them and have a little chit chat and tell them what always wanted to tell them, if I ever met them, and you know, and I really wanted to meet them more when after I did an interview with T.J. Jackson, Tito's son, on my podcast, the Paul Allman Show. Um, basically because I had asked him about who inspired you to go pursue a career in music, and which was the first question I actually asked TJ. So when he said that his family had inspired him to do music, it and how much they loved their families, they were really shaped and sculpted by his father, his uncles and aunts, his grandma. Um, yeah, I that's something that really intrigued me more. So if I ever meet them, you know, I always wanted to say more. Um, but yeah, getting back to it. I know I'm just here rambling on, but um, you know, I was, when I on the day of the show, I, I was so amped up. I was excited to go. I was really excited to go. You know, get my boogie on and everything. You know what I mean? Um, I took in a friend with me, and we were just jamming and stuff, jamming. You know what I mean? And yeah, and wow, when we went there, one of the many people I saw, some fans, they were checking out my outfit. They're like, "Oh, I love the fit," because at that time I was wearing the MTV Music Awards that Michael wore in 1995 when he kissed Lisa Marie Presley. R.I.P. Um, which is another topic for another day, for another video. But I will say, in that regard, we we enjoyed the show. I had to really describe the show to my friend because he's blind and he couldn't really see. So I had to really try my best to describe it to him as the best that I can. And I said this on the podcast called "It's All for Love" with Cheryl Massa. Um, I said in that regard is that at almost close to the end of the show, I looked at my friend at one point. I was like, "Hey, let's go down to the front." He was like, "Bet." So we went down. We went all the way down there, and on the way, and I didn't realize this, but on the way there, he was telling me that he was getting bumped. He was getting bumped, and I didn't even know that. And of course, I told him I apologized for that later on, but I didn't really know that. And when I got close, like so close to the stage, I could just grab their foot. I ain't gonna lie, but I didn't really do that. I didn't really do that. I promise you. Um, but yeah, um, I could see Tito up and close playing the guitar. I was like, oh snap, this is about to be real. And at one point, I turned around. There was Michael's cousin that I also met and become friends with to this day, Jay Hostile Jackson. He was like, I was like, yo, Jay! He's like, Paul, what's up, man? What's up, Paul? Yo, what's up, cuh? I was like, yeah, which, yeah, all the Jacksons are like that. Um, yeah, and at that point, and then I thought Tito was still playing the guitar. I was like, "Hey, Tito, looking good, Tito." And he looked at me, and at one point, he locked eyes on me. I was like, "You look good, Tito." He's like, and went back to playing the guitar. I was like, "Oh man, I was floored. I was floored. I thought it was done. I thought I had a little mini strokes right then and there, because that was an essential part. Um, yeah. So, and then after the show's all over, um, I went. I was one of the many few people that were first in line to go meet the Jacksons. But before all that, I met the programmer, the song's musical director and all that, and I met their manager, you know, Steve Hart, cool guy. Um, and then after that, we started to really to really walk there. And when we stopped, because the security told us up front that he said though that the Jacksons were getting feeling off, that what feeling off, have the energy. They're trying to save their energy for their next show, so there will be no dancing with them and all that. And I was like, oh man, but I already figured that, because they got to be, because their age. So I was very considerate. Um, but yeah, that was to be the case. Um, and I remember after that we were just chatting among ourselves, and I don't know if you know this or have a little same feeling, but when I had the feeling, and I still have this feeling to this day, um, I could feel them coming towards us. I could hear a little faint, mumblings, but I recognized it as the Jacksons. I was like, "Oh snap!" I looked at my friend. I was like, "They're coming." He's like, "How would you know that?" As soon as he said that, they had walked. They walked to they walked to their spots, and Jackie and Tito and Marlon, they still had their mask on, COVID mask on, and stuff like that. Which they look really good with that. With that, I ain't gonna lie, that was the best fit. And I'm like, yo, I'm like, that's so cool. I looked at him. I was so starstruck. I was starstruck. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like a 9-year-old priest, not a 9-year-old girl, man. I ain't gonna lie. And the inside I was screaming yes, but I'm outside. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? How can you say that? But how can you? How can you? You know what I mean? I mean, come on, this is the guys that became music royalty. So I mean, I'm going to show you the photo because I think the photo itself, but I will say that that when I was walking up to them, when I first walked up to them after the first two, maybe three or four fans walked away from them, and Tito, I didn't really see Tito right away. I saw Marlon and Jackie first, and I was like, "Hey, Jackie, how are you?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I saw Marlon. I was like, "Hey, Marlon, how are you?" I told him I was a big fan, and they appreciated it. They said thank you very much, and I would, and I was so stuck in the whole thing. I was like, "Where's Tito? Where's Tito, man?" He's like, "He's right there. He's right there." And you can see on the camera, you can see in this picture right here. Um, that I shook his hand. I was so starstruck because TJ TJ was right. He was really a humble, down to earth human being, and he was he was is and always will be the most kindest individual and most humble person I ever met. Um, I'm trying not to get so emotional and stuff like that because you can't buy memories like that anymore. But but yeah, I do remember during my time with him, and I told him that you know I wanted to thank them so much for helping me overcome my autism um, through their music and what they do, and I ain't exaggerating when I say that. Sorry, trying not to cry, but yeah, um, yeah. And I also told Tito that I I had interviewed TJ, and he was like, "Oh, cool! That's so cool! That is so cool!" You know. After that, he also took a picture with my friend, and I actually had to take the picture with my friend with the Jacksons. Yeah, so um, yeah. Um, and I told him again, thank you very much. I gave him a hug, a little kind of bro hugs, you know. I said, thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys again, you know. And they appreciated it. Um, yeah. This kind of question, um, this kind of question, uh, is going to be a hard pill to swallow, but it needs to be said. Um, prior to his passing, I went to their second show in Florida, basically last year on March 7th, 2024. And little did I know that would be Tito's last performance in Florida. Um, I had a good time. I really had a good time. Um, and it was just all around positive vibes going on. And during that time, his music especially helped me overcoming another tragedy I was going through, which I'm not gonna go into details on it, which is another video in itself, which is a video in itself. But I will say that during that point in the show, I had a weird feeling in my chest, I had a weird feeling in my chest because I I didn't know what type of feeling it was, so I had to really walk out of the theater, walk out of the building at one point to really catch my breath and trying because like it feels like someone was had a hand in my heart, like trying to crush my heart, and I didn't know why. Maybe it was just a panic attack or something like that, feeling or maybe feeling overheated because I was wearing a jacket, so that's one of the things, and it was feeling hot and sweaty. I felt a lot of it, and at one point, Michael's cousin Jay was there. He walked right next to me. He looked. I don't. I guess he saw that I was looking, feeling some type of way. Um, you know what I mean? And he was like, "Yo, you good? Yo, you good, bro?" I was like, I was like, "Yeah, man. I was going through. I was going through a whole lot, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Um, and yeah. Fast forward to September 14th, 2024. Um, I do remember prior to that, couple weeks prior, I sent him, a reel that I did with of the interview I was telling Tito about with his son, and I sent that to him, and he saw the message on Instagram, and I don't know if he ever watched it or anything, or I ever even showed it to TJ or Terrell, but all I know is that he saw it. You know, it's a blessing. Um, but again, going back to September 14th, um, the night before I was so worn out because I was spending time because I was trying to get my niece prepared for bed and get my niece off the bus. And one of the things, my I had a weird feeling that something terrible was going to happen, but I didn't know when. So I guess when I woke up on that day on the 14th, I had this. I was falling. I slept and I woke up so early. I got blown. My phone was blowing up. Um, my phone was blowing up like mad crazy. Um, all of a sudden, I looked at application that says "R.I.P. Tito Jackson." I was like, no, 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 not my boy Tito, not my boy Tito, man. No, 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 not Tito. So I scrolled around. I was like, yo, what is this? I'm like, what is this? Is someone punking me right now? Where's Ashton Kutcher when we need him? So after I saw that, I thought it was a prank up until I saw 3T's post. Um, when I saw that, uh, it still broke my heart. It still broke my heart, man. And I remember my mom told me
my mother told me that she told me she was sorry, and I remember crying the whole day, and cried the whole day, and my mother came to comfort me because the pain still hurts. I can't fake this, man. Can't fake this. I can't. I can't fake it, man. I can't fake it. And I cried, especially I try to keep myself to get pull myself together, but especially when I had to go pick up my niece from the bus. Um, my niece when after I pick up my niece, God bless her heart. She's 7, going to be 8 next month. Um, she looked at me and she goes, "What's wrong, Uncle Paul?" And I didn't really tell her because I don't want to make her see me like that. And so, yeah, and to this day, his passing still, I, s- I miss it, Tito, man. Like everybody, you know. I hope that I hope that his children are okay, and I hope that Taj, Tara, and TJ are okay, and I pray for their family, especially his mother, Catherine. I hope they're okay. Um, it still makes my chest hurt sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Um, all I can say is that Tito is and always will be a greatest inspiration that 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 the world could cherish. And he, for the last of his final years, was defending his little brother, and that's a tough pill to swallow. And then somebody said that he had a little chest pains and he needed to go to the hospital. And seeing, and then a couple of days after that, seeing Marlon crying on stage, and I saw his son Terrell cry on stage. That shit broke my heart, man. That shit broke my heart. But I will always remember him. I will always remember Tito. All I can say if I ever saw Tito again was thank you. Although I couldn't really see him the last time, and I regret of not seeing him for the last time. And if I had stayed at the last concert for just little bit longer, I would have had told him that and give him a little either a high five or a hug. Everybody needs a hug. You know what I mean? Yeah. I do want to end this video by saying we have to love one another and we have to trust one another. Um, yeah, yeah. So thank you for watching, and and Tito, we love you, Tito. We love you very much. You are missed incredulously, and you always will be cherished.